What's going on, everybody? Cabana Greg here, and in today's video I am coming back at you live with another Platinum Trophy Collection video. Today we're actually going to be taking a look at all of the Platinum Trophies that I've earned so far in the year 2023, and to give you all a sort of like timestamp as to when I'm recording this. Right now it is end of June in 2023, so it's crazy, but we're already halfway through the year. So, I thought what better way to sort of, mark this occasion by going through and listing all of the Platinum Trophies that I've earned so far in 2023. So before we go ahead and hop into today's video, I just wanted to mention that I actually have done some previous Platinum Trophy Collection videos. I actually did a Platinum Trophy Collection video for all of the Platinums that I earned in 2022. Then I also did another Platinum Trophy Collection video where I went through all 100 of my Platinum Trophies that I've earned, over several years of just playing on PlayStation. If you have any interest in those videos, I will leave links to those down below. But yeah, today we are just specifically focusing on the 14 or so Platinum Trophies that I've earned in 2023. Guys, if you are new to the channel, maybe consider subscribing if you want to see more stuff like this, more Platinum Trophy Collection videos, more Platinum Trophy guides, and things like that. And if you are a returning viewer, again, I super appreciate you coming back for more stuff like this. Alrighty, but without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the 2023 Platinum Trophies that I've earned. It's worth mentioning, I'm at 143 Platinum Trophies right now, which is kind of crazy. I'm hoping to get to 150 by the end of the year. More than likely it's going to happen at this point. And at that point, I'll probably do another Platinum Trophy Collection video at the end of 2023. So just to kind of give you all heads up, I'll be, gradually working on that over the year. Right now I'm playing Tome, just as like a little aside here, which has been great. This is on PlayStation Plus right now, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the early chapters of the game, and I'm looking forward to actually, spending a lot more time with this one. And the most recent Platinum Trophy you can tell here is The Last of Us Part 1. This is, again, super recent. This is June 17th, so, halfway through June. The main reason I wanted to go ahead and pick this game up a third time at this point is because I was just kind of curious to see how everything would look and play on PlayStation 5. And, I will say this, Naughty Dog did not disappoint. It is a great looking game. It ran pretty well. There was like one hard crash that I encountered and some minor VO sync issues that kind of happened early on in the game. But aside from those issues, it is just a core, it's the core Last of Us experience. It's the same great story and characters and writing that we've all kind of come to know and, love overall. But, I think the main thing is that, I can play it in 60 frames per second. I can play this in 30 frames 4K. There's just more options, I think, when it comes to the overall, display settings, the max uncapped frame rate, things like that. But overall, it's just the same exact game. I will say, after having watched the HBO series, going back into both Left Behind and the core Last of Us game, was pretty fun, and being able to map all of the little hints and Easter eggs between the show and the game was pretty cool. But then not even that, just kind of listening and noticing all of the little details tucked away into this game that also set up Last of Us Part 2. That was also pretty, I think, interesting, kind of coming back into this game, just seeing all that stuff blatantly laid right in front of you, just setting it up for Part 2. And, overall, I'd say that this was a very fun, very easy Platinum Trophy. As you can see, I've gone through the list twice now. There isn't a multiplayer aspect to the trophy list, which was one of the biggest issues I had with the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 trophy lists, where you not only had to get 100% completion with the base game single-player campaign, but you also had to play the multiplayer and beat all the multiplayer campaigns, which was hard, So thankfully, you're just kind of playing, getting all the collectibles, beating the game, and just enjoying your time. And I think overall, the experience of playing the game and getting the platinum was more enjoyable for me, because you're just quite literally going through things, collecting all the collectibles, and just kind of enjoying the core experience and not having to worry about multiplayer. Next on the list here is Legend of Dragoon. I did not expect to play this game and enjoy it as much as I did, but I went ahead and actually got this Platinum Trophy in June as well. This was, almost a week before I platinumed Last of Us Part 1. And overall, I was playing this with PlayStation Plus, I think Premium, because it's a Classics game. It's, this came back out on the PlayStation 1, so I think it's part of the Classics catalog on PS Plus. And this game rules. I did not expect to like this game as much as I did. The combat is turn-based, but there are some other mechanics in this game where you actually have to, provide input into your actions when you actually, make a decision. If you ever play Lost Odyssey, I think it's comparable to that, where in Lost Odyssey you have to hold down one of the trigger buttons, and then once your reticle lines up with this outline for the action or the attack that you're going to perform, depending on when you release your trigger, like the timing of that, you'll either get a, perfect or a good rating, and then that'll also kind of affect how much damage you end up doing for your attack. It's a little bit easier if you watch some gameplay footage to kind of wrap your head around what I might be talking about, but it is turn-based with some slight nuances, so some slight differences from the traditional formula, but overall, like, it is a core turn-based RPG. And I think the biggest surprise for me personally was that the story was awesome. The writing, the voice acting is very of its time. This is a late 90s game to early 2000s game, so some of the voice acting is a little cringy, but I think the overall story is very captivating. It's super interesting, and this game is split up across 4 different chapters. Chapter 1, I think, being the longest, and chapters 2 and 3 being some of the shorter ones. But overall, I was super enthralled with the overall story. I was hooked from start to finish, and the trophy list is very easy to attain. Basically, you just have to go ahead and complete all of the main chapters, complete all of the main, storylines. There are a couple of optional bosses, which I'll show at the bottom here. Defeat Dragon Spirit 3, defeat Dragon Spirit 2, and defeat Dragon Spirit. Funny enough, the silver trophy here in this list for defeating the Dragon Spirit is one of the easiest battles, in my opinion, whereas the bronze trophy for defeating Dragon Spirit 3 is one of the hardest bosses in the game, in my opinion. I don't know who made the trophy grades the way that they did, but personally, if I had to change these around, I would make defeat Dragon Spirit 1 a bronze, and then defeat Dragon Spirit 3 a silver. But I think aside from those optional encounters, everything else you can net just playing the game, which is why I love the trophy list. You just play the game and enjoy it for what it is. And, it's going to take you about 30 to 40 hours to just kind of do everything from the main story. So it's a good little RPG with plenty of twists and fun characters and a very easy platinum. But yeah, I really liked Legend of Dragoon. And again, I'm very surprised by how much I enjoyed my time with it. But yeah, that's Legend of Dragoon. Okay, next here we have Lake, and this was achieved on May 16th of 2023. I'll be real. I did not like this game at all. I originally downloaded it because I really liked the art style, and it seemed like a nice cozy game, but mainly the art style was the driving force for me for wanting to download it and try it out. And the fact that it was kind of like something I could pick up after work, vibe out for a bit, maybe for like 1 or 2 hours, put it down, go to bed, and then kind of do that throughout the week. But man, I was just bored playing this game. The writing was kind of cringe, the voice acting was cringe, and I just didn't enjoy the core loop. And it's crazy because people have issues with Death Stranding and its core gameplay loop. You don't really know boring until you play something like this. And I'm sorry, I think that, I don't want to be too harsh on this game because I do think there are a lot of great aspects to it. The music is, there's limited music in the game, but what's there is good. And the art style is for sure the strongest aspect of this game. I think that the development team did create a very good, atmosphere and overall layout of this town. Like, personally, I wanted to live in the town, which I think is a huge win for the development team, the design team, for getting that kind of reaction out of me as, someone who's playing this game. But I think overall, you just have like a very repetitive gameplay loop that kind of doesn't really do much in the way of overall engagement. And at the end of the day, I just kind of liked exploring the town, and that was about it. But I will say the overall, trophy list is quite easy. I think I completed this game in 3 days, maybe. I'm really upset because I really wanted to like this game more than I ended up actually liking it. And again, like I said, the main reason I wanted to download this was because the art style drew me in, and I thought this could be a nice cozy game to kind of unwind after work and just, play on my off hours. But in reality, I just didn't like it. I know some people really do like this game. I'm not trying to say it's a bad game. I think for me, it just wasn't what I wanted, and I just didn't like it. All right, next up here on the list, we have Life is Strange Before the Storm, and this might be a hot take, but I actually liked Life is Strange Before the Storm better than the first game. I don't think that overall it's a better game, but I found myself just enjoying the moment-to-moment gameplay in Before the Storm more than the first Life is Strange. I still think the third act of Life is Strange, the very first Life is Strange game, is super compelling. It's creepy, it's atmospheric and moody. But in this prequel where you actually play as Chloe Price from Life is Strange, I liked every single episode. I thought every single episode was interesting. It set something up in a unique way. I liked most of the characters they introduced. There was some complexity there, and there were some general arcs that were kind of made sense and fit with the overall story and the progression of the story, I should say. And the ending of this game, even though you know what's coming, if you've played the first Life is Strange, even though you know what's coming, it still is a sucker punch to your gut at the end of it. Like, you still feel kind of like sick to your stomach, and you're like, oh, I wish that things could just be different. So I think that, that's one thing when you play through a prequel, right? You have like an expectation, sort of where things are going to go, more or less. And I think when a game can elicit that sort of response from you, where you're like, oh, maybe if I replay this chapter a certain way, it doesn't have to end like it does. And I think that's like the strongest aspect of this game for me. So, I will say Life is Strange Before the Storm is better for me personally than the first game when it comes to chapter to chapter, but I think that the highs of the first Life is Strange eclipse some of the high moments in Before the Storm. And even though there aren't too many in the base game, when they happen, they're very strong and very just very awesome and devastating at the same time. And so, I know I've been talking a little bit about what I thought about the game itself, but talking about the Platinum Trophy, this Platinum Trophy here, or the trophy list overall, is very comparable to the first Life is Strange, where you just go through, you complete the game, collect all the collectibles, and that's pretty much it. It is very, simple. You just play through the game. If there's a graffiti, in this case, if there's a collectible that you miss, you can just simply use chapter select to do all the cleanup. So it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple. And it really just makes you focus on how good the core experience is. Alrighty, next one here is Dreams. I actually did a Platinum Trophy review on this game a couple months ago, I guess, a couple weeks ago at this point. So if you want to check this out, I'll leave a link to that down below. But this was achieved on April 22nd. And yeah, so I did a Platinum Trophy review on this title, kind of giving everybody an understanding of if this is a fun, easy Platinum Trophy, what are some of the hard trophies to look out for, things like that. So I've kind of given some general thoughts on this one. But just to kind of give a high-level overview of what I think about this game, I would say that Dreams is unlike anything I've ever played or ever experienced. I think that the creation tools, the suite of creation tools that are here at your disposal are incredible. Like, you really can make anything you want. Platformer, a cinematic, a music video. Like, you have so much agency as a creator in this game to just build whatever you want. And the Dreams community is small, but it's a very strong community, and a lot of the people who are like putting stuff up and making things for the the Dreams community, all of the stuff I've played has been very fun or funny and just impressive overall. I think it's a shame, that it just didn't take off. Like, I think Dreams as a whole, right, like, didn't take off. It was a risky investment for Sony, and I feel like Media Molecule poured a lot of resources into maintaining this game, supporting it, but the sad fact of it is, not many people were supporting this game. And so, while Media Molecule will move on to other endeavors at this point, they'll separate themselves from Dreams and start working on something else. If you haven't played Dreams and the core concept behind, what the game is, if that interests you, I think you should download it and just give it a shot for yourself, because there's plenty to play with here and there's plenty to enjoy. There's plenty to appreciate. I had a great time with this. It is a very unique experience when it comes to actually platinuming the game, because if you don't like the core ideology behind, what this thing is, like what Dreams is, it's going to be very tedious and very, grindy. And you may not enjoy the overall experience to getting the Platinum Trophy, but if you like creating things, you like sharing things with other people, playing other people's games, this is a very fun and easy Platinum Trophy, and you'll have an awesome time with it. Like, I can't say enough good things about this game. It just sucks that there wasn't that much support for it overall from outside of Media Molecule. Next here on the list, we've got the first Infamous here from the PlayStation 3. This was achieved on April 9th. And, I remember I played Infamous when it first came out, years ago, and I really enjoyed it. At the time, I was also playing Prototype, and personally, I just thought that there were a lot of components in Infamous that I liked more than, whatever was in Prototype. And, revisiting this game this year and actually platinuming it and 100%ing it for the first time in so long, it's still pretty impressive. I think there are a lot of good components to this game. I think the karma system is, at the time, I thought it was very robust and revolutionary, but honestly, it just kind of is very binary, right? It's like good, evil. There's no like in between, I feel like, with some of the overall impact that it has to the story. So, I think the karma system maybe over time has just kind of proven to be it's not as robust as maybe in like Infamous 2, for example. But overall, like this game is great. I still had a lot of fun playing with, with all the different powers that you unlock. I think that some of the core gameplay stuff is like it's fine, but I think I just remembered parts of this game a bit more fondly than when I actually went ahead and revisited it and was like, oh, this is a little lacking here, or this gameplay loop at times can be a little like stagnant. But overall, like I liked the artwork. I liked the powers, the different powers and how you traverse the city. I thought that the overall traversal was pretty fast and ahead of its time in certain ways. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Sunset Overdrive from Insomniac, which I still think Insomniac are kind of the masters of traversal in games. Like I don't know what it is, but they just know how to do it. But going back to Infamous, the Platinum Trophy here is not too bad. The more annoying aspect would probably be the fact that you have to find all the blast shards in this game, and there are quite a few. And I think 100% of the blast shards is like 280 or something weird like that. And you just have to look up a map because some of the blast shards are just hiding in very strange places, and it's just faster with a map. I think aside from that, though, you'll just have to play the game twice. Once with an evil playthrough, once with a good playthrough, and then beating the game on hard, which is hard, but I would say, it's not as hard as playing some of the other, some other games with their like highest difficulty settings. And surprisingly, the last boss in this game isn't too challenging on hard. I just found like a good, not exploit, but a very convenient way to take him down using the grenades, the grenade ability for Cole. So it wasn't that bad. But overall, Infamous was a joy to revisit, and I'm really glad that I got the Platinum Trophy for this finally. And maybe I'll go back to Infamous 2 and just play through that again. All right, next up here on the list, we've got Ape Academy 2. I actually did a Platinum Trophy review for Ape Academy 2 as well. This was on April 3rd. You can go ahead and check that out if you have any interest in Ape Academy 2. Overall, though, I will say I did play the first Ape Escape Academy on the PSP. I just liked that game overall because it was more minigame focused. The card battling system that is the core gameplay loop in Ape Academy 2, I didn't dislike it, but I don't think it really added anything to the overall experience. Like in the first Ape Academy, you just have this like tic-tac-toe board, and if you win 3 minigames in a row, like using the rules of tic-tac-toe, right, you beat that boss basically. So it was way more like simplified than the gameplay loop that's here, but ultimately like it's just a collection of minigames, so I didn't really need a card system or like a complex game system at the core of this game, because at the end of the day you're just playing a bunch of minigames, right? But overall, I would say Ape Academy 2 I did have a good time with. Overall, like I did enjoy it, and some of the minigames are good, but ultimately I only played like 20 or 30 minigames overall out of the, I think, 100 or so that was advertised as part of this game. And there was a comment on the Ape Academy 2 video that I had done where someone was saying that different minigames unlock based off of, I think, the island you're on or certain battles that you end up taking. So maybe that's just because I didn't play as many battles. But overall, like I only played the same 20 or so minigames, which isn't super engaging for me personally, but that's just me, I think. But yeah, again, if I'm talking about the Platinum Trophy here for Ape Academy 2, it is very fun. It is very easy. You'll get most of these just normally playing the game. I think there's only a handful that may require some strategy, some actual work involved here or there. But overall, like you just, you play the game, you enjoy the core experience, and that's really all the trophy list asks for you. I think if I had to do it again, I would, but Ape Academy 2 was fine. It was a right in the middle sort of game for me. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. I just thought it was fine. Next up here on the list is Jumping Flash. This Platinum Trophy was attained on March 12th, and this was again some game that I played through the Classics catalog on PlayStation Plus. And overall, I'd never played Jumping Flash before. It is a first-person, like 3D platformer where you play as this rabbit that has like weapons and stuff, and it's very of its time. It is a very weird, Japanese PlayStation exclusive type game, but I actually had fun with it. I thought that the platforming, I didn't mind it in first person. I thought it was going to be a little weird, but the way that this game was designed, it's actually not that bad. I think it holds up pretty well. Now, obviously, I'm playing this on a PlayStation 5, and I have dual analog support and things like that. But, overall, like, I still thought this was pretty fun to play. And this is another, game that I sort of played in my afternoons when I was free. I'd pick this up for an hour or two and then put it down, pick it up again, put it down. And it honestly didn't take that long to actually get the platinum. I mean, it might have taken me a couple of days or so, but they were... it wasn't that long actually, and I think a lot of the challenge here, there is some challenging, portions of this game, but overall, like, it is just a fun, easy platforming action game. And it was pretty cool, playing something like this on modern hardware, on a PlayStation 5. But I think overall, like, this was just it was fine. It was a good experience. I'm glad that I actually played it and tried it out, and now I actually know what jumping flash is. But I think if I had to do it again, I might not. I might just set myself, I might set out on this one. There were other games from the PlayStation 1 era that I would play before I would play something like Jumping Flash, for example. Alrighty, next here on the list, we've got two here. We've got Super Stardust Portable on the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 4. This is not an auto pop situation. I actually played this game twice all the way through, which kind of may give you an understanding of how easy the trophy list here is. But just going to the PlayStation 5 one, this was on March 11th, so I was playing a lot of stuff in March, I think, overall. But I love Super Stardust games. Housemarque is a great studio overall. I don't think they've ever made like a bad game. I like their types of games that they make, so they've never made a bad game for me and my play styles. And Super Stardust Portable is another example of them just, again, making a quality title. This was on the PSP. The only problematic part of playing this game on modern hardware is that there isn't dual analog support, so you basically have to use the directional buttons and the face buttons. You have to use those to aim your projectiles. So I hope that they patch this game soon and you can actually use two analog sticks, right? Like one to move and one to shoot, because it would make things a lot more enjoyable overall, I think. But even with that minor gripe that I had with it, this is a very fun game. This is excellent. Again, I just like the type of games that Housemarque makes. So anything that they make, I'm typically like, oh yeah, this is fun. This is sort of the stuff that I enjoy. So if you ever played something like Resogun, for example, maybe that can kind of paint an idea of the type of game that this is. But overall, I think that this was a rather fun experience, and there's only like one trophy that's pretty hard here. I would say Late Boomer here is probably the hardest trophy for me personally. Now, the idea is that, you have an arcade mode, you have an endless mode, right? So you go until your ship blows up, and then you have this bomber mode. So the bomber mode is you can only clear waves of enemies using bombs, right? You can't use your traditional projectiles here. The problem with this game mode is that every time you use a bomb, there's a ship that comes and only drops 2 bombs per wave, or like every so often. So every time you use a bomb, you end up collecting 1 additional bomb. And for this trophy specifically, let me just go back to it here. You need to have 15 bombs in your inventory, not 15 that you've collected overall, and maybe you've used 10 of them, now you have 5. You have to have 15 stored in your inventory ready to go. So it's pretty hard, but I think using the PlayStation 5's rewind functionality, that is going to make this trophy a lot easier and made it easier for me. So just something to keep in mind when you're going for this trophy. Like, I think that it will be difficult, but, using some of the new sort of like features that are part of PlayStation 5 will make this a little bit easier for you. But I think, again, overall, like, this is an incredible game. I think Housemarque makes awesome stuff in general, and for me, like, I find myself just like logging in to play this game every once in a while. I do really want them to patch that dual analog support though, because I think it will increase the overall enjoyment of the game, and I'm hoping that more developers end up doing this for their classic titles that end up getting, ported over or added over to the PlayStation Plus service. Alrighty, next here is Uncharted Drake's Fortune Remastered. This is the remastered collection, the Nathan Drake remastered collection that Blue Point Studios worked on years ago. I got this in February of this year, and I was feeling nostalgic. I wanted to play some Uncharted, and so I'm like, oh, let me play the first game. It's been a while. I enjoy the first Uncharted for what it is, but ultimately I've realized if I had the option, to play Uncharted 2 or 3 or 4 or even Lost Legacy, I'd pick those games over this game any day. And it's nothing wrong with Uncharted itself. I just think that the other games in the series are better, and they're more enjoyable, and they're a little bit better to play, right? Like, and I don't think this is like a hot take, or, I feel like most people would agree with me in that statement, where Uncharted is good. I think more than anything, it is just a reminder. It is more of like a nostalgia thing of like, wow, as soon as this game came out, it seems like a lot of things picked up for PlayStation 3. Like, a lot of other great games started coming out. People were buying the hardware and the software, and just overall getting exposed to these unique single player experiences. And I did have a fun time here with the game. I still think that the The first story is just very light, Indiana Jones. What's the other sort of inspiration here? I think Romancing the Stone. Like those types of movies were definitely like heavily inspiring the first Uncharted. And it's fun. It's very lighthearted fun. It is a summer blockbuster type story and overall narrative. And again, you get introduced to all of the characters that are, staple within the Uncharted series. So overall, like a good time. And when it comes to the Platinum Trophy itself, there isn't too much of a difference between the PlayStation 3 trophy list and the PlayStation 4 trophy list here. I think the main thing, and let me just actually go back down here. The main thing are these 3 new trophies. You've got beating Chapter 5 under a certain amount of time, beating Chapter 12, and beating Chapter 16. So these trophies are new, right? These are part of the Nathan Drake collection. These are like sort of time-specific, time attack trophies. So aside from these, you have just your standard collecting all of the treasures in the game, beating a certain number of enemies with a specific type of weapon, and beating the game on normal, hard, I think, and crushing are the main difficulty trophies here. But everything else was really fun in terms of just, again, revisiting this classic and sort of remembering fondly, like, oh wow, after playing this game, I got Little Big Planet and all these other like cool titles that really made the PlayStation 3 a great piece of hardware to own for me personally. Alrighty, now we're getting to the final few here. Next is Spirit of the North Enhanced Edition. This was on February 1st, so very beginning, early parts of the year. This is a puzzle game. It's also like an open world sort of exploration-based game. I wanted to play this because I heard a lot of great things about it. I heard that it was a nice vibe, type chill game. You could just kind of throw this on, play for a couple hours, put it down, and then just do something else. And that's what I did. I played this game in small 2-3 hour bursts, and I think it took me a couple of days to get all of the trophies here. If I had the choice to play it again, I probably wouldn't. That's just me. But overall, I had a nice time with it. It was very chill. It was very relaxing, and most of the stuff that you need for the trophies, for the Platinum Trophy, you just kind of can get while playing the game naturally, which makes things a lot easier, makes things a lot chill, like a lot more chill, right? You don't have to kind of go out of your way to find certain things. Art design and the music, the score overall, were the main 2 aspects that drew me in the most. There were a few technical issues and bugs and glitches that I encountered that kind of took me out of the experience, but overall, I had a good time with this one. Alrighty, so we are getting down to the last 2 here. We are going to go with What Remains of Edith Finch next. This was on January 25th of this year. I actually did a review of this game a long time ago when my channel was very nascent, very early on in the channel history. I love this game. This is one of the best games to have come out in the past 10 years, 20 years. This game is incredible. Replaying this game on PlayStation 5, my opinions were the same. I still think this is a wholly unique, very atmospheric and fun, and sad, devastating game. And this again is just one of the best games I've ever played. I can't just talk about this game without going into a huge 20-30 minute explanation as to why this game is so good. If you have an interest in trying this game out, just do it. If you've never played it before, just do it. Just pick it up, go buy it. If it's free, it's free. If it's not, pay the $20, whatever it is. But this game is a masterpiece. This is one of my favorite games to have come out in a long time. And if you have an interest in watching that review, I'll leave a link to that below as well. And I don't want to dive too much into why it's great. You can go read about it or look at my video if you want, but it's fantastic. The trophy list here is very easy. Just go through and complete the story, and there are a couple of small collectibles here and there, but they are all tied to the main story progression or the story path that you're on. So again, it's a very chill trophy list because it just is part of the storyline. That is all I'm going to say about this game because I don't want this video to be 2 hours long. But that is What Remains of Edith Finch. Alrighty, everybody, so we did it. We made it. We are here at the very first Platinum Trophy that I got in 2023. Holy crap, that's a lot of other ones that they added here. Okay, so yeah, we have made it here to the Callisto Protocol. This was on January 22nd of this year. So this was the first Platinum Trophy that I got in 2023. Now, Callisto Protocol. I did get this when it came out. I did pre-order it, and I never pre-order games. Just to put that out there, I never pre-order games. And if I do, it's because I really believe the game is going to do well, or I want it to do well because of the studio pedigree, the designers, the engineers involved, the developers involved. And boy, oh boy, this was a rough one for a bit. Now, I did get this game when it came out, but as you can see, I didn't finish the game until 2023. And the reason is because this came out, I think, during the holidays, so naturally, all holiday-based events started cropping up near the end of the year, and so I didn't get a chance to come back to play this game until January of this year. And when I did, I think there were several bugs and huge like performance and visual upgrades and updates that had already been pushed out for this game. And so when I was able to revisit it again, it was in a different state from what it was when it first came out. Even though it was pretty stable on consoles to begin with, I think there were just more enhancements that were pushed for the core, game itself. And I will say this, I think that Callisto Protocol, when I replayed it, while it's not horrible, as some people have been saying it is, it's not amazing either. It is sort of like a in-the-middle sort of like good game for me, like a 7 out of 10, like just kind of like, yeah, it was fine. Like it wasn't a horribly offensive in terms of how bad it was or how broken it was, but it wasn't like playing the first Dead Space again, for the first time, right? It was, you could tell that like this was the team that made Dead Space, and in some ways the gameplay and the flow felt a little antiquated, just a little dated. That's kind of the main issue that I had with this game. Now, to make this game more enjoyable for just playing it and going for the Platinum Trophy, there are a number of accessibility options that you can toggle on in this game, and they will make the game a lot easier. So if you want to play this game, and I'll just let you know right now, like beating the game on the maximum security difficulty isn't that hard, but I think if you turn on some of these accessibility options to like auto dodge and, auto counter some enemies, like it makes things a lot easier, because the hardest, most frustrating thing about this game is the gameplay. Truthfully, I think the gameplay is my biggest issue with this game. But again, if you go into the accessibility menu and you turn on auto dodge and a few other small enhancements that will take the frustration away from playing the game, which is dumb to say because it's a video game, right? But if you turn these accessibility options on, it makes the game way more enjoyable. Because I think that my core issue with this game when I first started playing it was just not intuitive to play. I didn't like the dodging system. The melee was fine, and the shooting was okay as well. But I'm telling you, if you turn on the auto dodge in the accessibility menu when you first boot up the game, you will be surprised by how much more enjoyable the game becomes, because you don't have to stress about these very clunky encounters, because you know that the auto dodge is just going to do the heavy lifting for you, and you can focus on the gunplay or the melee combat, whatever it is that you end up prioritizing. But truthfully, it's always going to be the melee combat, especially on maximum security difficulty. So that's just my personal recommendation. I know there's several other gaming journalists and YouTubers that also recommend the same thing, and I would 100% agree with them. Just turn on the auto dodge, and it makes the game way more enjoyable to play, because the biggest enemy that you will face in this game are the controls. Aside from that, playing the game with the auto dodge turned on, I enjoyed it. Again, I think it is a very good sort of average game that unfortunately, is just going to get compared to the first Dead Space and live up to sort of those expectations, which it didn't. But I think, again, if you just turn on that auto dodge, you play through the game once, maybe go get all the collectibles, and then do a second playthrough on maximum security difficulty, you're going to have a decent time with it, give or take the type of experience that you're hoping to get out of this. Now, I will say this, I did get this trophy on January 22nd, and the most recent update that had come out for this game actually created a bug for the maximum security difficulty trophy. So I basically played this game twice. I played this game once on hard, I played this game once on maximum security difficulty, and then when my trophy didn't pop because of a bug that was introduced by, one of the, I think it was 1.08, there was some patch that went up for this game, and when it went live, it broke this trophy. And so what I had to do was I had to play the entire game again on maximum security difficulty, and then it still didn't pop. And so what I had to do was I played New Game Plus, as you can see here on 122. When this mode came out, all of the developers on Reddit, there was a Reddit thread for the game. They were saying if you go and you play the game on New Game Plus on maximum security difficulty, the trophy will unlock. And sure enough, I played the game on New Game Plus, and I, got the final trophy I needed, and I got the platinum. That tainted the experience for me tenfold. I was so pissed that they had introduced this bug that completely broke people that actually played the game on maximum security difficulty, who played through it and didn't get the trophy. And so then I had to play the game again on New Game Plus just to get this trophy. And playing on New Game Plus was pretty easy, right? Because you have all of your upgrades already. And combined with the auto dodge, like it's not very hard at all. Alrighty, everybody. So that is going to do it here for the 2023 Platinum trophies that I've earned so far, right? So we've already established that this is just because we're already halfway through the year of 2023. And I wanted to go through the 14 trophies that I had earned so far in 2023. I will be doing a 2023, collective Platinum Trophy video. So at the end of the year, I'm going to be going through and listing off the remaining trophies that I earned from, July to December. So if you want to, see that, I will be working on that over the next couple months that are left in 2023. So yeah, everybody, I really appreciate you dropping by to see this Platinum Trophy Collection video. If you want to see more Platinum Trophy Collection videos, again, I will leave those links down below. You can click on those and take a look at my other Platinum trophies that I've earned in my 143, total Platinum trophies that I have. And again, look forward to another 2023 Platinum Trophy Collection video at the end of the year to kind of go through the remaining trophies that I am sort of in the process of earning, and kind of give you a better idea of some of the other games that I'll be finishing up for 2023. But yeah, thanks again for stopping by, everybody, and until next time, I will see you all on the next video.